Hi everyone, I'm back. If you've never listened to me yap before, welcome to the Yapathon. I'm probably just going to talk for like 20, 30, 40, dare I say 40 minutes straight. And today we're going to be talking about, I wrote it down somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. 18, that was so loud, I'm sorry. 18 red flags in guys. Now, before you go crazy on me, just hear me out. I am not a man hater. I am not here to hate on men. I'm here to hate on their habit. What are my bangs doing? Okay, that's fine. I'm here to hate on their habits, okay? You cannot choose if you are a male. That is not a choice. Well, no, actually, that's not a choice that you get. You. Now I'm like overthinking it because I paused. I guess you can choose if. You can choose to transition. Let's say that. You can choose to transition. But if you're raised as a male, that is something that is out of your control because that was just the life that you were subject to. You were assigned a gender at birth and that was decided for you. The rules that the gender, whatever, were assigned to you. And if you were raised as a male, if you identify as a male, I'm not hating on you. I'm hating on your habits. And if you don't do these habits, you're not a part of this. So this is actually for, if you're a guy, you want to listen to this, go ahead. This is actually for my teenage girlies. Actually, no, it's not just for the teenage girlies. We're here for the 15-year-old the 50-year-old grandpas who are like, maybe I'm toxic. Maybe girls these days would think that I'm toxic. Maybe my wife thinks that I'm secretly toxic. This is here for the grandmas, the ones that are judging me. Is my grandma judging me? I don't know. This is here for the moms that have daughters. Maybe look for tips. I don't know. I don't know. This is what we're dealing with in the modern. This is for anybody that thinks that they need to see a red flag or what I consider to be a red flag in the modern day. Now, let's take into account who I am. Not that I'm anybody that great or whatever. I'm a 21-year-old female. I live in England. I consider myself to be pretty well-traveled. That's my only redeeming quality. I'm not really funny. I'm a little bit political. Some people would say that I'm a lot political, but I'm a pretty liberal. I mean, I have some I have some right views, but I feel like a lot of my views lean left. I'm a pretty open-minded person. I'm a pretty relationship-based person. I'm a pretty emotion-based person. I'm not a big numbers and statistics person, although that I think that those are important. I really go off of the way that I feel about something, like my gut instinct, because I don't know, that's just what I do. That's just who I am. So, a lot of these just are like what I consider to be a red flag. And what I consider to be a red flag is not necessarily what you would consider to be a red flag because I'm looking for what I want in my life. I know what my life looks like. I know what I want my life to look like. So if I'm talking about what I see as a red flag, I'm seeing this is a red flag. This is something that I do not want to be a part of my life. That's something that I don't want to be a part of my energy. And you know what? I get to choose that. I get to choose what comes into my life just the same way that you do. The same way that you get to choose what your energy is, what your life looks like, what your vision is. So take that into consideration, right? What I consider to be a red flag, you might consider to be a green flag. But this is just my perspective on it, okay? So I'm not a man hater. I'm really not. I love you men. You men are perfect and beautiful and amazing. And I'm so glad that God created the male gender. I have little brothers. They are the light of my life. I've fallen in love with several men. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of men in general. So let's get this established, okay? I'm not hating on males. I'm hating on your habits if you do these habits. So let's get into it. Okay, number one. The number one red flag, I didn't organize these in any specific order, to be honest. I just kind of wrote them down as they came to my head. Number one is hates other men. If you are a guy that hates another, sir, like, and this applies to girls as well. If you hate, and honestly, if you hate on anybody, and by hate, I mean like specifically see other people like as competition. Like if I'm talking to a guy and he's like shitting on this other dude for pursuing his passions or because he's kind of cringe or because he's short. I see that a lot. And you are hating on another guy. That is such a red flag. Like, support your bros. Please support your bros. Like, men's mental health is at an all-time low from what I understand. I have nothing to compare that to. That's just one of my gut instincts that I'm going off of. Men's mental health, bro. Like, support your bros. Support your bros. If you cannot support your bros, how the hell are you going to support me? Like, I don't understand it. If you are not supportive of other males, that is like the biggest red flag that exists for me. Like, what do you have to lose? What do you have? Like, support your other bros' gains. Don't be like, oh, he's lifting wrong. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's like the way males support, by critiquing each other's way. I don't know. But either way, if you are hating on the males, that's a major red flag. What else do we got? I got a little notebook here. So if you see me like kind of referencing over it, they're all written down. These were, like, I thought about this a little bit, to be honest. I'm sorry, I keep burping. When I made that list, I was not thinking that I was going to make it into a podcast. I just started writing it down because it was like what was on my mind. And then I had so many that I was like, oh my gosh, I could probably rant about this for a fat minute. Okay, what else? Number 2, you like the attention. Ladies, men, non-binaries, they, thems. I don't know what the proper term is for that, but I do believe in, like, supporting your pronouns. Actually, we might add that to be number 19 because that's a whole other rant that I could go on. Okay, yeah, that's number 19. We only hit 18, but now we have 19. You like the attention. I've been with males that do this. Where I'll go out and I'll wear a skirt. I'll wear a dress. I'll go to the beach and I'll wear a bikini and I'll just be like, you know, sitting in the sun. The amount of men that are like, you like the attention. That's it? You're drawing the attention. Bud. Do you think I live my entire life for other males? Like, genuine question. Do you think that I put on this outfit and I was like, the boys are gonna love this? Because I didn't. Imagine if that's what I did. I looked in the mirror and I was like, how many boys am I gonna pull with this outfit? No, I didn't. I wore the pink bikini because I liked it. Because I thought I looked cute. And I thought, you can see most of my tats with this. I think I look like a baddie. No, I don't just like the attention. And if you're asking me that question, if you fathom for 0.02 seconds that I dress myself to get attention, you and I are on 2 very different pages, bud. That's red flag number 2. I feel like I could talk about this more, but I think I nailed my whole point right there, so I digress. We move on. Number 3, they joke about you owing them. Love this one. I don't love it, actually. I'm not going to be sarcastic about this, you guys. When males joke about how, like, you owe them sex. Let's say you you should sleep with, maybe they won't say, maybe they'll joke about it. They'll be like, oh, what are you going to do for me later? Or something like that. Or that you owe them food because they bought you food and they didn't say anything at the time, but they bring it up later and they're like, oh, remember that food I bought you? Remember that bracelet that I bought you? Remember that time that they keep a tab of, like, everything that they've ever done for you and how you owe them. Do I even need to say that this is a red flag? Like, no. Like, you wouldn't be friends with somebody that does that. You would not be friends with somebody that's constantly telling you how much you owe them because you didn't have to buy me that food. You did not have to buy me that bracelet. I will be grateful. I will be like, oh my God, I love this. Thank you. I will say thank you. I always make an effort to say thank you. And sometimes I make an effort to pay that person back. Like, if I notice that they've been putting a lot of money into me, I'll be like, hey, I'll split it. I'll pay for my own food. Because, you know, I mean, in this economy, bro. But constantly bringing up that I owe you something, I don't owe you shit. Nobody owes you shit. Like, you wouldn't tell that to your parents. You wouldn't tell that to your friends. You wouldn't tell that to your grandma. And I mean, if you would, I think that that's a really shitty thing to do. So if somebody keeps bringing up how much you owe them as a friend, as a partner, no, it's a red flag. Number 4, they go days without texting you. And gosh, I hate that this is on that list because I wanted to be that person that was like, no, we can go days without texting. Your life doesn't revolve around me. And I still stand by that. I think that you should not have to text me 24/7, but I do feel like that we should have an ongoing conversation, even if you respond to it 19 hours later, right? If you leave me undelivered for like 6 hours, but what are you doing for 6 hours? I mean, unless you're like, I don't know, doing on a trip or something, or doing something actively that you told me about, like, hey, I'm gonna be really busy. But if you just suddenly disappear for 6 hours, that's kind of sus. I mean, I get it. I kind of get it. But in my experience, the relationships that I've had where the guys don't text me that often, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, he's separate. Like, he's got his own life going on. He doesn't have to let me know. He was cheating on me. He was talking to somebody else. He was not invested in me. He was trying to like, and that's been every time. That has been and I can think of 1, 2, 3 times. 3 times in the 6 or 7 men that I've dated. And most of the other guys constantly wanted to have a conversation with me. They were not leaving me on red. They were not going days without texting me. Like, we would chit chat even a little bit, even if it was just like, I saw this meme and I thought of you. It doesn't have to be a long conversation, but just like, and I thought of you. And if there's days that go by and he doesn't think of you and he doesn't text and he doesn't call, in my experience, it does not end well. Things don't go well from there. So that's a red flag. What are we at? Number 5, guys that think height matters. We love that, don't we? We don't love that. I need to stop being sarcastic. That goes into the same category as like hating on your bros. If you think that you're better because you're taller than somebody, because you're physically taller than somebody, that is something that they cannot control, and that is something that you cannot control. And bud, that's like heightist. I think that's heightist. That's like saying that I'm better because I'm brunette instead of blonde. That's not something that I control about myself. Actually, you're shittier for that, actually. You're shittier if you think that height matters. Why don't you focus on something that you can control? Like maybe your goddamn personality. I'm sorry, I'm swearing so much, but that's just, I'm going to be real with this. Okay, I'm going to be authentic, dog. I'm going to be authentic. You have better things to do to be comparing things you can't control. First of all, don't compare yourself. I say that as like we shouldn't compare ourselves. I do sometimes compare myself to other people, but we really shouldn't be comparing ourselves. And I say that because you compare one factor, height. Maybe this other dude that's like 5'8" speaks 5 times more languages. Maybe he speaks 5 languages. Maybe he's really like funny. Maybe he's really empathetic. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's really smart. Maybe he's got really pretty eyes, okay? And physical features are not really something that we can control. I would say be with somebody that you're attracted to, right? And I'm not going to be with somebody that I'm not attracted to. But hating on a guy for his height, what are we in elementary school? Are we still in high school? Like, and maybe you are. Maybe you are still in high school. But bud, there are more important things to care about than that. And so, red flag. Number 6, he believes in a trad wife. Yeah, and I gotta remind y'all, this is my opinion as a 21-year-old, pretty liberal. I would say that openly. I'm pretty liberal. I have some Republican views. I have some Democratic views. I say that as like the two parties, but to be honest, I don't identify with either party. So I don't mean to make this political. This is the girl politics. We're talking the girl politics of dating. So let's throw my politics out the window for a second. You see, I say I'm a little bit political, but in reality, I'm afraid that I'm afraid I might be too political. And that's inner turmoil that I got going on right now. I'll probably make another video about that. What was even the point? Oh, he believes in a trad wife. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Let's just say this. If you expect me to clean the whole house by myself, to cook all the meals by myself, you want some like homemade bread? You want me to pop out 8 kids? You want me to take them to church on Sundays? You want me to be a traditional housewife? First off, what tradition? What tradition? The 1950s tradition. Don't want me to tell you about what Viking women did? What about Scandinavian women? Native American women? Because I guarantee you Native American women were not baking sourdough bread in brick ovens. What about the ancient Greek women? Y'all want to do some research on that? What about the moment of silence for everyone that thinks a traditional housewife, like there used to be in the olden days, the 50s and 60s, the old days. Definitely after, like, 1500. But definitely before 1900. That little window. Out of all of humanity, that little window is what works. Okay, I'm just gonna move on at this point because I think I might be being dramatic. Oh, what else do we have? You wouldn't show your podcast channel to. Ooh. Girly, if you got a podcast channel, shoot me an Instagram DM. We'll do a little collab. But even if you're not a girly, even if, like, I don't know. But anyways, if I wouldn't show my podcast to a guy, if I wouldn't show my YouTube channel to a guy because I would be afraid of what he would think, that's a red flag. Well, honestly, it might be a red flag on my part because I'm not comfortable. Like, I'm not comfortable with you enough that I'm going to show you my artistic hobbies. That might be a red flag on my part because I might be afraid of being myself. But if I can't share my art interests with you, my passions, something that I really, really love doing, why are we in a relationship? Why am I seeing you in that way? Clearly, I cannot be my truest, authentic self with you. And why are you in a relationship with somebody that was not themselves? So maybe that's a red flag on both of our parts. What else we got? You would hate to be compared to him. I saw this on Instagram the other day. Actually, I might have been today. And it was like, if you know that guy that you're seeing, if somebody compared you to him and was like, oh, you're just like him, would you take that as a compliment or an insult? Would you feel the need to defend yourself? And I'm gonna be honest, almost all of the guys that I've dated, if somebody compared me to them, well, I say this now after the fact, I would be like, what do you mean by that? God, no, please. And that says something about me. Like, why am I dating somebody that I'm not okay with being compared to? I think there was one guy in everybody that I've dated. No, I think two. Well, I mean, at the time, some of them at the time I would be like, why do you say that? Because there's definitely things that I saw in him that I didn't like, and I was just trying to gloss over. But there's one dude that somebody was like, yeah, you're just like him. And I was like, really? Thanks! Because I respected him and I looked up to him so much. Like, he was actually a really close friend of mine. And I had so much respect for him. I wasn't even looking for a relationship at the time. But yeah, if you don't want to be compared to him, like personality trait wise, probably don't be in a relationship with him. That's a red flag. Number 9. Yes, dear. If you got you a man that's like, yes, dear, sure, hun, whatever you say, hun. If your man is out here, yes, hun, yes, dear, whatever you say, dear. One, what is this? Like, are you lost? Are you giving up? Why do you act like you're already like giving up a fight that you haven't even started? Are you picking a fight? Like, if you got something to say, tell me. Tell me. You don't want to communicate? Red flag. You're going to agree to everything that I say? Red flag. I'm sorry. I don't want you to agree with everything that I say. How the fuck is that a relationship? That's not even a friendship, okay? Like, and it's dismissive. Okay, sure. Okay, hon. Whatever you say, hon. Like, that is not him. He does not love you. He is not saying whatever you want, baby girl, because he loves you. He's saying it because he's lazy. Hot take, but that's my take on it. Okay. I feel like this is going to be such a hateful video, but it's going to be what it's going to be. It's in the stars. What else I got on here? Has no hobbies. Girlies, if he just cleans, goes to the gym, and sleeps, that man has no hobbies. That has no hobbies. And I do count gaming as a hobby. But you got to be careful with that. Because if he's invested and he's like trying to learn about other games, or he's into like a very specific kind of game, that's one thing, right? Legos, I do consider Legos to be a hobby. Like, if it is something that he's actively learning more about and developing, that's a hobby. If it's like he's just floating through life and he watches YouTube for 3 hours once he gets home from work, that man does not have hobbies. And that's a red flag. What do y'all even talk about? Like, I don't know. Y'all just like talk about the memes that y'all send each other? I don't know. Okay. 11. He has no desire to travel or explore. This kind of goes hand in hand with like have you developed yourself as a person? Do you have goals? Do you want to see anywhere? Oh, you're kind of lukewarm about everything? Why? Like, this comes from me, somebody who's very passionate about life, very passionate about exploring, very passionate about like everything. If you don't got even a couple places on your bucket list, you are floating through life, and I ain't gonna flow through life with you. That is not something that I do. I got better things to do. And I don't know, man, develop yourself as a person. You shouldn't be in a relationship with me if you don't have any goals. Like, it kind of gives the ick. Okay, what else? Oh, number 12. Ooh. You guys, because I literally got into an argument with somebody, an ex, the other day about this. Red flag what number are we on? Number 12. He doesn't think of his future daughter. And I'm going to get serious about this for a second, because I used to be married. And the person that I used to be married to did not meet this requirement. You got to get yourself a man that treats women the way he would treat his future daughter. I'm going to tell you why. Let's say y'all get married. Let's say y'all do. And this little 5-year-old girl sees your 32-year-old husband, man, boyfriend, whatever, making jokes about who's hot topic right now. Sydney Sweeney, Billie Eilish, whoever is making a joke about her body. Your 5-year-old daughter's gonna remember that. She is. Your 10-year-old daughter's gonna remember that. Your 11-year-old, your 12-year-old, your 15, your 16-year-old daughter's gonna remember that. And girlies, you remember 16-year-old you? You remember 8-year-old you? You remember 5-year-old you? What would she think? Me, I'm giving my daughter the whole world. I'm giving my daughter the most caring, protective, defensive father, fiercely protective father that I can. And I don't mean protective in that he's strict. He's not letting her go out. He's telling her how to dress. He's telling her who and who not to date. I mean in that he thinks about his words. He thinks about his actions. He thinks about what he jokes about. It's just a joke. That's my favorite term nowadays. It's just a joke. You can't take a joke. Depends what you're joking about. Because my 5-year-old daughter isn't going to know that you're joking. My 11-year-old daughter isn't going to care. And I refuse to live and parent a child with a man that's going to joke about a woman's rack. It's embarrassing, guys. It's embarrassing on behalf of the male race. It is. So, that is. And like I said, I'm not a man hater. But if these are the kind of jokes that you're making, would you make that around your daughter? Would you want somebody to make that joke about your daughter? How would you feel about that? Let's have an ounce of empathy for a second. So, yeah. 13, fat shaming. Men who fat shame. Such a red flag. And I'm going to break it down for the men that are watching this video. Because if you don't like this girl, I understand a little bit if it's a health issue, right? You got to have a healthy partner. I value that. I do. I want my partner to be fit, athletic, because I'm fit and athletic personally. And I want him to be able to keep up with me when I'm rock climbing, when I'm running, you know? I want a partner that I can keep up with physically and mentally. Especially if it's something that you can't control, though. Let's say something were to happen to my hormones, something was happening to my body that caused me to gain a lot of weight. And I mean a lot of weight, like 3 times, 4 times the amount that I weigh now. And it's not something I can control. It's a medical condition. And some guy wants to call me a whale or talk about, I don't know, whatever, my body. And let's say how much do I weigh? I weigh 104 pounds. Let's say I'm walking along with this dude, and he makes a joke about this girl that's really overweight. Let's say she's wearing short shorts or whatever. Let's say that maybe they don't fit her the way that they would fit a skinny girl, and he says that out loud. I'm trying to break this down in the most analytical way possible because I feel like that's how men think. And I present the question, what if she was me? Would you say that about me? Well, babe, she's not you, but what if she was? What if it was me? What if I developed some kind of medical condition? What if I developed an eating disorder? Are you not going to like me anymore because I'm not skinny? And if the answer is yes, bye, bitch. Bye. I could find somebody else that likes me because I'm skinny. The fuck? Like, I feel like that should be an obvious. And I'm here for the girls, the girlies that are watching, the younger teenage girlies that are watching. They're like, well, you know, it's not that bad. Like, I kind of agree. You think it won't be you. You think it couldn't happen to you, and then it does. Develop some empathy before life forces you to. And for the men that can't fathom why it should matter, it's just rude. If you don't care about being rude, well, that's a whole other issue. So, we move on. 14. This is very personal preference. This man don't know what Star Wars is, okay? And I say this as the biggest Star Wars nerd, but this is bigger, okay? This is a part of a bigger picture. I'm a nerd. I am. And I love nerdy guys because nerdy guys don't cheat on you, all right? Nerdy, book reading, gamer type dude. Well, it depends. There's 2 kinds of gamers. You got the book reading, Percy Jackson, Star Wars, Lego building nerds. I've never found one of those that's cheated on you. I've never found one of those that's cheated on me, to be honest, because they're too busy nerding out. They probably don't know how to talk to girls. I'm sorry. I do not mean to insult any of the nerds out there because I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars, and it was a part of my childhood. And this goes for any of your childhood shows. If he doesn't know what it is, girly, you either gotta put him on it immediately or he better be lying because, like, that show, and I know everybody has a show like this, is such an essential part of who I am. If he doesn't get it, he doesn't agree with it, like, we gonna have some problems. And to show my dedication to the Star Wars merch. If y'all don't know what the 501st is, I'm gonna need y'all to sit down. Okay. That's more of a personal preference, to be honest. But I still... Number 15. Mans can't cook or clean. Now, I will forgive you if you try. If you try, I will forgive you. But if you can't cook or clean, number 1, don't expect me to. Honey, do not expect me to do your laundry. That is not what I'm here for. You can hire a housemaid. And if you expect me to cook better than you... This might sound racist, but I'm a Latina, so I probably can. But if you don't even try, nah, red flag. The worst part is when they low-key expect it. Like, they just like, hire housemaid! Okay, sorry for yelling. It's really not that deep. 16, he takes away from my skincare routine. And this is honestly one of those things that's more of like a me red flag. Because if I'm rushing my skincare routine for you, something is wrong. I don't know what, but something is wrong. If there is some part of me that's like, I need to rush through my skincare routine, I cannot focus on myself because I'm so busy worrying if you're going to need a text back or, oh, whatever. I don't know. If I'm so worried and stressed that I cannot get through my favorite part of the day where I take a minute and I take some time for myself, that relationship ain't going nowhere, honey. It's a red flag off the table. Nah. Number 17. Oh, this hits close to home, actually. This hits close to home, guys. Oh, and it's still staying kind of fresh because my most recent situation shifted this. He doesn't introduce you to his friends. Oh my god, and I know it's such a red flag. Like, I know, I've heard the stories. I don't mean to be dramatic. I really don't mean to be dramatic. I don't. It's not that deep. It's not. If he doesn't introduce you to his friends, it's because friends, one, he's embarrassed of you, and God forbid you end up in a relationship with a man that's embarrassed of you. I can't think of anything worse. Salute to all my girlies that have survived a situationship or a relationship with a man that's embarrassed of you. Like, it's the worst. 2, his friends might like you, and then he has to keep you around a little bit longer than he maybe expected to. So if he's just trying to keep you around for the short term, or maybe like a late night booty call, he can't introduce you to his friends because then they're going to want to have you around when he doesn't want to have you around. And that sucks. I knew this was a red flag. I had seen it happen to other people. And I was like, oh, well, maybe like the dynamic is sensitive. Take it from me. Don't do this to yourself. This man don't want to introduce you to his friends after like the 3rd or so date. Take it from me. Don't do it to yourself. Say goodbye to that man. Okay. Number 18. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for some guys. Hygiene. I'm not even going to get into this because I think this shit is gross. Brush your teeth. Use a good scented body wash. Wash your hair. Do a little moisturizing. I know the guys don't like moisturizer. At least the guys I know don't moisturize their face. A little aftershave. I don't know. Take some time. Smell good. Wash your laundry. And I mean, like, put some good smelling soap in that shit. Put some dryer sheets, maybe extra dryer sheets. Make sure that the place that you live in smells good, because you're going to smell like the place that you live in. Use bleach on those socks. Please use bleach on those socks. Take a goddamn shower after you go to the gym. It's hot to some people, and maybe if you're in a relationship and that girly is that dedicated to you, it's hot. But if you're talking to somebody new or you're going, it's not, dude. Don't show up sweaty at her house. Don't. Yeah. And number 19. We're almost done, guys. Supporting pronouns, and I this is a very specific example, but I'm going to open it up, right? I've taken this stance. I was not raised liberal. I was raised strictly Christian. Strictly Catholic, actually. But here's my thing. Whatever you identify as, he, she, they. Maybe you're not too sure how you identify. It's not my job to tell you what you prefer to be called. If you choose another name, if you switch from a girl's name, you can legally change your name. You go from Maggie to Madeline. You go from Matthew to Maddie. I don't care. It's you. That's all you, baby girl. And I say baby girl is a gender neutral, what is it, a pronoun? Gender neutral pronoun? I might be grammatically incorrect. I don't know. I fear. It's none of my business to tell you how you're supposed to feel about yourself. And if you were a previous she and now you're a they, I honestly don't know what the correct pronouns are for that, but tell me that you are uncomfortable with the way that I address you, and I can change that. Because why would I not? But that's the bigger picture that I'm talking about here. If somebody tells you that they are uncomfortable by something small that you do, maybe, and it depends on the thing. Sometimes you got to set personal boundaries, right? If somebody tells me that the way I slur makes them uncomfortable because, it really doesn't even matter their reason. Maybe they're religious. Maybe their dad used to slur a lot and he hit them. I don't know. Maybe their mom used to slur a lot. For whatever reason, they're uncomfortable. And you know what? If I want to maintain that relationship, I got to have a little bit of compassion. I got to have a little bit of empathy and be like, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. I want our relationship to be good. I want our workspace to be good. I want our home to be good. So, I'm going to sacrifice this little bit. I'm going to inconvenience myself a little bit because it's a little bit of an inconvenience. I'm going to inconvenience myself a little bit because this relationship matters to me. And if you can't have a guy that's not willing to inconvenience himself a little bit for you, how's he going to inconvenience himself a lot? I'm just saying. Also, if you're going around telling people that they should or shouldn't be gay or they should or shouldn't be changing their pronouns, well, you can impose your beliefs on the world all you like, bud. The world ain't changing for you. I will change my little world for you, maybe, because I'm a little bit of a people pleaser. And I feel like compassion is probably one of my strongest values. And I will have a little compassion and inconvenience myself a little bit. Shoot, I'll do it for the Republicans as well. I will do it for the far rights that are like, oh, well, I don't appreciate you wearing mini skirts to my party. I'll wear jeans, girly. Like, it doesn't change what my body is, right? I prefer to wear shorts. I prefer to wear short shorts. I prefer to wear mini skirts. If somebody's like, oh, please don't show up to the beach in a bikini because it makes me uncomfortable or whatever reason, I'll wear a tank top and some shorts. Like, if I value that relationship, I will inconvenience myself a little bit if I value it. Anybody would. And if you're not with somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody that wouldn't even inconvenience themselves a little bit, that's not a relationship. It's not. It's like a contract or something. I don't know. Anyways, those are all my reasons. Wow, we actually did go on for almost 40 minutes talking. Yeah. So, like I said, this video is mostly for the teenage girlies. It's for the guys that might actually want to know what I say we, but I can really speak for myself. What I, as a 21-year-old female who's traveled a little bit, is not very well educated. I didn't graduate high school, so I can say that. I'm taking college classes right now, though. Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, you gotta decide for yourself what is a red flag and what isn't, what energy you want to bring into your life and what you don't. There are some things on this list that you might be like, I can't do that. That can't be on my red flag list because I want that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that's going to do X, Y, and Z. Change it for you. I would honestly recommend that you make a list of what is important to you, what you can not deal with. Make that list before. And change it. Definitely change it. Because somebody told me to make this list when I was 15. And they told me what to put on it? How dare they? Like, what? Why would you tell me what kind of man that I should be looking for? Make a list of a partner. not just a man, a girl too, that you're looking for. Cater it to you. Don't listen to what society says. I mean, well, take it with a grain of salt, let's be honest, because some of them points, they do got a point on some of those. But yeah. Anyways, that's all I got for today. I gotta go work on homework because I have an essay that's due tonight, and then I have a final exam that's also due tonight, and I'm not trying to study for either of them, but I have to because I have a little self-discipline. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you like. Maybe drop a little like if you liked my yapperoni. That's not a word. Yeah. Check out my threads that I do not use at all, actually, anymore. I used to use it a lot. Check out my Instagram. Shoot me a DM. Check out my Spotify. I do have my podcast on Spotify, but I haven't figured out how to get the same, like, audio from here onto Spotify. So all my, like, podcasts on Spotify are separate. Yeah. Anyways. Have a good day, girly pop. Bye!